Let's talk about cover design next for a moment because, again, just thinking back to 2008, I don't see it so much anymore, but it used to be so obvious. Like when you saw a book on Amazon, to look at a cover and be like, oh my God, they just selected some template
Yeah.
and ran with it. And that expression, don't judge a book by its cover. I think that applies to everything in life except for books because people
Yes.
do judge books by their covers.
It's funny that you said that because I'm currently working on 2 new books, and one of them is about self-publishing, and I just wrote that chapter last night about and I mentioned that exact
Amazing.
same, that they say don't judge a book by its cover, but you really do when it comes to publishing. You gotta realize that the book cover is the first thing that your potential reader is gonna see. Whether we like to admit it or not, we do choose books by their cover. Heck, I choose wines by the labels because, it looks pretty or it looks professional or something. And we do the same thing with books. I have, when I look on Amazon, if I'm looking for a book, I am more likely to, go with a book cover that looks really professionally done. Because that not only jumps out at me, but it also tells me the standards of the author. And
Really.
if their standards are so high that that book cover is so professional, then that tells me that they care and that probably the content of the book is going to be outstanding as well. So think of it as your business card. It's the first thing people see, and then they judge whether that book is worthy of them to press that buy now button. So it is really important.
Absolutely. And then we have editing, also very important.
Yes.
And that it's so true. I spent 6.5 years as a content manager for a digital marketing agency. And I've learned this, and even before that, I learned this that sometimes your brain, like you'll see something that's supposed to be there in the writing, but it's not there, and vice versa. You'll miss things because you get too close to the subject matter. And so true in books. So Veronica, talk to us a little bit about your editing and to put your editing hat on and kind of let us know what that process is like when you are editing for someone.
It is true that when you write your own book and you read, you get I think they call it a scotoma. It's after a while, you know what you're saying, so you skip over words when you're reading because you know the thing so well. So it's so easy to overlook a mistake or something because your brain has the ability to look at a misspelled word and know what it means and move on. So there's so many people that say, "Oh, I can edit my own book." And it is true. Do I edit my own books? Yes, I do. But I'm really meticulous. I tend to be very meticulous. But that doesn't mean there's no mistakes in my books. I've published books and then had to re-upload manuscripts with the corrections in them. But editing is really important as well because once you get somebody to buy your book from seeing that professional cover, if they go in there and see misspelled words and sentences that are just kind of odd or not correctly formed, you've let them down.
Well, you lose credibility, I think, with your readers
You
too. The
do.
second they see a typo, or even if it's something minor like that.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. So with self-publishing, one of the great things is that if you do publish and see there is mistakes, you can immediately fix them and upload the new thing, and it's up there within an hour. Um, but uh, getting your book professionally edited is definitely something that I would say every self-published author should do because you may be an excellent writer, but even people like Stephen King and all those big names, they have an editor too because they make mistakes. They have sentences that are clumsy. They have ideas that they don't fully form. And these are things that your editor will point out and send back to you and say, "Hey, did you want to complete this thought hasn't been completed?" They'll catch errors or spelling mistakes or any grammar problems. This is the job that the editor has. And I think it's definitely one of the top things, and you shouldn't really skimp on that because you can lose credibility very quickly if you don't do that
Absolutely.
properly.